This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
Welcome back to the Spotlight Omaha podcast. We've had a little bit of a layoff, but we appreciate everybody that's been asking us where we've been. We appreciate you tuning in and watching today. This is the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Sinovation Omaha, and this is the brand new inside look at the Pyramid Contractor Studio. I'm your host, Jimmy Allen. I'm joined by my friend today, Kris Epps-Martinez. Kris, thanks for being here.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Kris is one of the owners and operators over at Invita Wellness, and you guys are kind of taking a new look approach to what health and wellness is and how it looks, not only from an in-office standpoint, but from a payment standpoint as well. Can you tell us what Invita is and how you guys are operating over there?
So Invita Health and Wellness, we have been open almost 3 years, and we are a nurse practitioner-owned health and wellness clinic. We do numerous different things. We do medical weight loss. We do bioidentical hormone replacement. We do family practice, IV infusions, Botox, lip filler, laser hair removal. We're just really a hybrid of all the things that our patients use to optimize their health. I think one of the things we're proudest of is we also offer direct primary care. And that's something you and I have talked about.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's something a lot of people don't understand, but I think it's very helpful for people with high deductible plans, or people that just don't have insurance at all. Just a really good preventative way to take care of yourself and optimize your health.
A lot of times, maybe this is more of a male versus a female thing, because guys don't like going to the doctors. We don't like talking about ourselves, obviously. But when we talk about everybody's got to find a way to pay for their health, right? And that's been a hot button topic because of the changes in insurance. In this room, we talk to a lot of general contractors about the way insurance is affecting their business, and obviously in the healthcare industry, it's a little bit different, but more of the same. You guys accept cash as well as insurance also. Can you talk about why that's such a big deal for your guys, not only patients, but for your business model as well?
Yeah. So for us, when we started, a lot of people were doing the medical weight loss, myself being one of them. And it got—
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I lost 50 pounds, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that if I wanted to talk to my provider, they would charge me $25. If I wanted, to change my prescription, I was charged money. So it got to be why is health for the elite, right?
Sure.
Like anybody should be able to get competent, good, affordable healthcare. And we kind of want to change that because, again, our responsibility is to make sure instead of being reactive in medicine, we're being preventative in medicine, because
The whole point, right?
The whole point.
Yeah.
But that's not the way medicine works. Insurance does not care. Okay, we can get you to lose 50 pounds, lower your risk for heart attack, stroke, cancer. No, we're just going to hedge our bets that you're not under our insurance when any of that stuff happens. So what we offer is a monthly fee. It's called direct primary care. And what you would get is you would get your yearly physical. It would include your yearly labs, and then you can get a sick visit a month. So how that helps people that have no insurance, it means you can hopefully stay healthy, and it's going to also reduce that strain on the emergency room. People going in for coughs, colds, things that really could be handled not, in an emergency room. But a lot of people without insurance, they're driven into the emergency room because it's the only place they can get care. Both of us are old ER nurses. I guess
Sure.
we're not that old, but we worked in the ER. And
Kris and her partner, I'm not an old ER nurse. Yeah.
No, my partner Angelina. But we were both ER nurses, and we saw it all the time. Like people would come in for ear infections or just very simple things they could have treated if they were able to get into a direct primary care, or if an urgent care visit was actually affordable. So that's the other thing we offer is cash pay urgent care visits that are affordable. Less than $100. And, that's unheard of. Some people, that's less than their deductible.
This is one of the busiest flu seasons in recorded history. I think the most ER or urgent care visits since 2010. What have you been seeing from people that's maybe leading to these causes, or maybe specifically reasons that you're seeing maybe a higher rate of patients than in flu season past?
Well, I just think influenza A this year is just so prevalent.
Sure.
And I don't think it's fully covered by the flu shot this year, which happens. They do their best to guess which
It's a new
flu
strain every year. Yeah.
It's a new strain every year, and it's kind of cool to do to figure out how they figure out which flu shot to give. But I think just more people are getting it, and a lot of people are getting something viral. Their immune systems wore down, they get better for a couple days, and then they're exposed to influenza or COVID, and then they're getting that.
Sure.
That's the one thing we have seen a lot more of is people coming in for our immunoboost IVs. It's got a good dose of zinc in it, and it's either keeping the family members healthy that don't want to catch anything, or kind of helping those people recover that have been sick for weeks at a time.
Walk me through the process of a patient coming to Invita Health and Wellness for the very first time. They walk in the door, they found you online, they met you at a networking event, whatever it may be. What does that process look like if I'm coming from my primary care doctor and thinking about maybe trying something different and walking into Invita for the first time?
Yep. So every time you come in and see us, let's say you want to do an IV infusion, we're going to talk to you. You're going to talk to our awesome nurse, Alicia, and she's just going to kind of tell you, find out why you're coming in. If you're sick, we do all your vitals. We listen to your heart and your lungs. We make sure that you're a good candidate medically wise for this IV. And then you can get your IV. We can get you started. If you want to be a direct primary care, she can walk you through that process. So basically, it just kind of depends on what you're coming in for.
Yeah.
But it all starts with Alicia. You can email us. You can call us. We're big on communication. And that's kind of the other thing. We don't have, in corporate medicine, I always say, you go to your doctor, you spend how long with them?
10, 15, 30 minutes.
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's not the time you're in the office. Actually, face to face with your physician.
About 5.
About 5. Because you don't get to see them. And it's
Sure.
not their fault. It's not that they don't want to serve you. It's
They're
not
running
that
to
they
the next.
Yeah. It's not that they don't want to help you. They just have to go to the next patient because their corporate medicine that they're under says, hey, you have to see 40 patients a day or whatever. And we don't have that. So on average, we spend a half an hour with each one of our patients face-to-face time. 45 minutes if you're a new patient. You have my cell phone number. Most of our patients have my cell phone number so that they can text me if they need something, even if it's after hours. If it can wait, I'm going to tell you if it can wait. If I can answer you, I'm going to answer you. So I just feel like we have more of that personal medicine. I always said that my dream job was to be like Doc Baker on
Sure.
Little House on the Prairie
absolutely.
and do those
Shout out to
house
Lord
calls.
English Wild.
Yeah. Woo. And so it's just so cool to take medicine back to its roots and be able to, care about my patients and
That's why you're supposed to get into the industry in the first place, right?
100%. And I think so many of us do, but then we're ruled by these, like I said, these stupid corporate rules.
Sure.
And I mean, we still follow our guidelines and, we have license and stuff like that. But I can go see my patients for a half an hour and nobody's going to tell me that I can't do that.
Right. It's your rules, essentially.
Right? My rules.
And we're catching up with Kris Epps-Martinez here from Invita Health and Wellness on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Sinovation and Pyramid Contractors. I have to ask this question because I've watched people do it. I've heard the conversations you presented to a group that I was at, and people always ask, well, what's the catch? There's obviously the insurance portion of it all. And a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes doctor's offices will charge you more charge your insurance more than they would charge you out of pocket. Can you explain why that's the case and why it's different at Invita Health and Wellness?
Yeah. So for us, in order to follow insurance rules, if you're an insurance patient, you're an insurance patient. The only thing you can pay cash for is for things that are not covered by your insurance. So if it's bioidentical hormone replacement or the compounded weight loss medications, those aren't going to be covered by your insurance. So those you can pay cash. But for instance, you can have your consultation that can be paid through your insurance, which is fine. Blood work through your insurance, that's fine. But some people are like, no, I'm a high deductible plan, so that's going to be 100% out of my pocket. So I just want to be 100% your cash pay patient, and that's fine. You really have to be one or the other. But I think the thing that really gobsmacked me was I had a patient who needed a certain test. So I called and was like, hey, what would my patient's cash pay price be? And it was like $120. And they're like, but the insurance cost would be $657.
Math does math. Yeah.
I'm like, what? So then if you figure a patient has to pay 80%, if it's an 80-20 until they catch up, I mean, that's like a lot more money than if they just pay out of pocket. And I was like, holy shnikes, really?
Walk me through what that sounds like when you're having that conversation with patients, though, because I think a lot of people in today's day and age of scamming and everybody's just kind of waiting for the other foot to drop or the other shoe to drop, right? But you guys are not only helping with day-to-day health stuff, influenza, urgent care treatments, you're also helping people through that journey as well. So it's not just necessarily about, hey, we can help you make this a little bit more affordable. We can also help you feel better about yourself. And I think people of our generation in the 90s were waiting for the giant weight loss pill that would take everything away in a minute. And it kind of feels like the GLP-1 movement is what people of our generation have heard about their entire life. Obviously, there's a lot more to it.
That's what we've been training for.
Than that, right? But can you explain the health benefits of GLP-1 versus why it may not be right for some people as well?
So GLP-1s, when my patients come in and talk to me, we do a whole half an hour education. And even if they've been elsewhere, they sit there and they look at me and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea it did all of those things. So it's kind of crazy to me. It's like, you've been on these meds for 6 months and you had no idea. But it really does help with inflammation throughout the body.
Really quick, this is Ozempic and
this is any GLP-1. So semaglutide, which is also called Ozempic and Wegovy, or tirzepatide, which is also called Mounjaro and Zepbound.
I just want to let people know in case they maybe have heard the brand names and maybe not necessarily the medication.
Yeah. And it is confusing because each one has 3 different names. There's the compounded version, what they use for weight loss, and what they use for diabetes. They're all the same exact medication. It's like, let's confuse people even more. But these meds have been shown to decrease your lipids. So for people who have, high lipids, it's been shown to decrease those. It's been shown to reverse fatty liver. It's been shown at the cellular level to help the heart and reduce the risk of heart attack. It helps you produce more insulin. So it's going to lower your insulin resistance, which has, honestly helps some women with fertility because they have some insulin resistance they didn't necessarily know about. So like I tell all my patients, I'm like, honestly, all the benefits of these meds, the weight loss is truly the cherry on top. It really, really is. And then I proceed to tell them, I don't care what your BMI is. I don't care what the number on the scale says. I want you to feel good. I want you to reach your goal health. I don't even talk about your goal weight.
Sure.
Because weight is a number. And what I looked like at 120 pounds at 18 is going to be very different than what I look like 120 pounds at 100 or at, I'm not 150.
140. Folks, this is what GLP-1 can do for you. Kris is 140 years old today.
I obviously haven't taken my memory shot. No, at 50, like it's very, very different.
Sure.
So
again, and it's supposed to be. And I think that's important because a lot of people want to look younger, but looking younger isn't always the healthiest option either.
Yeah. And I think for us, like you and I, we're from that generation where our moms did the cabbage diet.
Yep.
They did Weight Watchers. They did Richard Simmons and Jane Fonda, and they did all of those things. And they ate the 800 calories and did all the fasts. And even like now, some of these companies are like, oh my God, I lost 7 pounds in 5 days. That ain't good.
Yeah,
like that is not good. Or, they lost 40 pounds in 12 weeks. Results not typical. Well, I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. Now,
yeah, because that's the important thing about working with a healthcare professional too, is doing it the correct way. Because if you lose 20 pounds today and put on 60 tomorrow, did you really accomplish anything?
Yeah.
And that's, I don't want to speak for Invita, but that's kind of the thought process. Is we're going to walk you through the process. We're going to help you become healthier and get your balances correct versus we worry about what the number on the scale looks like.
Right. It's about optimizing your health. It's never going to be a number on the scale. And for a lot of our patients, that's thyroid optimization. So many times we go to our doctor, we have all the symptoms of thyroid issues, and they run one lab and they're like, you're fine. It's normal. Well, it's normal, but is it optimal? Right. Like,
and am I fine? More importantly.
Right. And so we run more detailed labs and we're like, oh, hey, we could really put you on a low dose of this. And then people feel completely different after they've been arguing that they haven't been well, but all their labs are normal. Well, normal is not optimal. And same thing with hormones, right? And hormones are the big deal right now. And I will tell you, I am no hormone expert. I know enough to be dangerous, but my business partner is one of the best in the Omaha area when it comes to hormones. And just her knowledge blows me away. And there are so many times patients leave after a consultation with her in tears, not because she's mean, but because for once in their life, they feel heard. I'm the mean one, no. But for once in their life, they feel heard.
Well, and I mean, I want to go back to something you said a minute ago, because I can't tell you how many times myself or somebody I know have walked into a medical facility with something wrong and being told, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously not.
I wouldn't be here if I felt fine or if everything was going well. You mentioned you guys are obviously a business partnership at Invita Health and Wellness, and not only do we like to dive into what people do, but the behind the scenes of things and how their business works here on Spotlight Omaha. Can you talk about how the partnership kind of started? You mentioned you guys are both ER nurses, and why it was the right time for you guys to leave, quote, big medicine and kind of stave off on your own.
So we were ER nurses together, and we, were friends. And then she was rude and got her NP and left me in the ER.
And NP is
nurse practitioner. She got her APRN. And she left and went to a wonderful clinic, and she was there. And then I was never going back to school in my entire life. And then I was like, wait a minute, sister. I can do better by patients. I can do better if I go back and I get my, APRN, become a nurse practitioner. I can do this. I can serve people better. And so I went back to school. Well, I went back to school October of 2019. In the middle of COVID.
Was there something going on at that time?
Yeah. And so it was impossible to get clinical hours anywhere. And I reached out to Angelina and was like, hey, can I come?
Chris's business partner.
Who's my business partner, was like, hey, can I come do clinical hours with you? And so I actually went and worked with her and got some of my clinical hours. And then we just, from talking, and we both have varying opinions about different health things and, women's health, men's health, all this stuff. And we just had these really good conversations, and we both want the same thing for patients, is for health to be attainable.
Yep.
Because it's not in so many aspects, to have medicine be good medicine. So many times you hear, oh, I'm functional medicine, I'm traditional medicine. What about good medicine?
Yeah.
Can't we just practice good medicine? Yeah. Right? Like, can't we just be a good mix of those things? And so then we started talking, and we sat down and had dinner at a bar.
Okay.
And
you can give a shout out. It's fine.
Wrote on our napkin what we were going to do. And we were going to become an IV infusion clinic, and we were going to go into people's homes. And then I sat there, and the more I thought about it, and I didn't like the way I was having to pay as a medical weight loss patient, I said, no, this is a route we need to go. These are the people we need to reach. These are the people I want to help. And so then that's just kind of how it all started. And we were both still in our other jobs, and it just grew by leaps and bounds, because again, people felt heard. They felt validated. They felt supported. And, one of my favorite patients, she went from like 360 pounds and she's 180 now. Still my patient, one of my friends that I started with. And like, she sent me a picture a couple months ago. Her husband dared her that she couldn't put herself in one of her old pant legs, and she did. I mean, it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And like, when my patients talk to me, I don't always ask them what is like, how much weight have you lost? I want to know, what's your non-scale victory? And to have people tell you, I can tie my shoes on the top now, and I don't have to tie them on the sides. Or I can tie my shoes now because I can bend down and tie them. I don't have to slip them on and off.
Sure.
I can walk up the stairs and I can still breathe. I had one lady who said, you know what? I spent my motherhood years being overweight and not able to play with my own kids, but I just got in a swing set with one of my grandkids.
That's awesome.
Like, how can I not be the luckiest person ever to get to do this job and help people?
Well, that's the ultimate story, right? It's like, it's never too late to start
100%.
as long as you start, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk about you for a minute, and we're catching up with Kris Epps-Martinez from Invita Health and Wellness here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Sinovation and Pyramid Contractors. Because just in a little time before we hit record here on the podcast, I saw you being a business owner. I saw you being a mom. I saw you being a business partner just over the phone in the 15 minutes you were here beforehand. How do you balance business owner, nurse practitioner, mom, wife, networker, fill in the blank after that?
50-mile marcher.
50-mile marcher, avid dancer, and karaoke goer. How do you balance it all?
Because I'm crazy. I think, honestly, I think my ER background just gave me the chaos control that I needed. Honestly, my family is so supportive. I am so lucky. I have just a great husband who he looks at me and he's like, you know what happens if I take one thing off your plate? You go, ooh, I have room for something else. So he's like, I'm done.
And your husband's name is
Jesus.
Shout out to Jesus.
We got to give the support system. Yes, he's a good man to put up with me.
I wasn't going to say that, but Jesus, God bless you, my friend.
my kids are fantastic.
Sure. And their names are
Cruz and Zoe and Hunter. And Angelina's such a great business partner. Sure. And we have late night phone calls and we jump on calls when we need to. And, and we actually own another business as well. I don't know if you knew that. It's called Sign Gypsies Omaha.
Okay. And you guys do?
So we set out yard greeting signs and we do big celebrations. So like this weekend, we did a 6-year-old's birthday. We did a brand new baby who is coming home from the hospital. We do retirements. We just did a big retirement for a cardiologist here locally.
Very cool.
So, basically we elevate your celebration. We did a New Year's Eve sign. We do a bunch of graduation stuff. So super fun.
Where can people find that information on?
You just go to signgypsies.com and then you put in your zip code. Omaha comes up, and so we run that as well. God love my sister. She is the business manager for that because
your sister's name is
Amy.
Shout out to Amy.
Yeah. Big shout out to Amy to have to put up with me. But I think just like knowing what your end game is, sure. I think some of my biggest mentors said that, you put in this really, really hard work, and you're a new, business owner, is you put in this really hard work on the front end so that you can start putting the right people in place to buy back your time.
Yep. 100%. We talked a lot about Invita Health and Wellness, and I guess we'll allow you to give a shameless plug to your other business. We didn't discuss that. I'll allow it.
I was sneaky.
It was good. How can people find you over at Invita Health and Wellness?
You can go to Invita Health and Wellness Omaha.com, and you are always welcome to call us. Like I said, our amazing nurse Alicia will answer any questions you have. You can email us.
Phone number is
402-522-6877.
And you guys are located over in Papillion?
Yep, we are.
Walk-ins welcome.
Yes, you can always walk in and get information, but we're 9645 Giles Road, and we are in the same plaza between Rough Sports Bar and Domino's.
We covered a ton today. Is there anything about Invita Health and Wellness that people should know about that we haven't mentioned?
You're just going to get a different experience if you come and see us. When you walk in our doors, and we've had other people tell us this, our goal was always not that you're walking into somewhere that's medical, that it's, like you feel like you're in a hospital or a clinic. Like we want you to feel like you're walking into a home where you're taken care of and you're cared about. And you've been in our clinic. It's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah. Occasionally Buddy the Elf is there.
They took my Buddy the Elf down and I didn't even notice because I was on vacation.
There's potentially a great new wall wrap coming to Invita Health and Wellness, courtesy of Sinovation. So, Kris, this has been a ton of fun. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back to the Spotlight Omaha podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with a new business owner. We're talking candles tomorrow. If you want to enjoy the scents in your life, you're going to check out tomorrow's podcast. This has been This has been the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Sinovation Omaha and Pyramid Contractors. Thanks for watching. That was easy, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. Who's coming for candles?
I can't remember.
I love candles.